Monster kill!
Battle begins.
And obviously Fnatic fourth in the groups, and obviously coming in, there was a lot of question marks with the three members of TSM, how they would perform. Not too bad. I mean, upper bracket, that is definitely something to be proud of. And on the side of Aster, they've looked like they were top of their groups. Not as good as LGD, but that's basically the same for everybody else.
Yeah, we will see here today if they have actually broken the curse. Of course, they are upper bracket to start.
Yep.
But winning this would basically mean, yeah, the curse is officially broken. They're not just eliminated in the first stage of the bracket, of the actual playoff bracket.
Yep, that'll be a big change for them.
That will be.
Because
That's right.
things have not gone according to plan in their past, but through the DPC, they have crushed it consistently.
Yep.
And I think so far it's translated really well. Obviously, getting first in the group is a good step for them. But getting to this specific game, the lineups themselves, we see a Lesh pick with an IO. I thought it might have been kind of the IO pick at least, a bit of a takeaway situation because you picked a Storm as third. You need some sort of a mana battery usually to feel a little bit more comfortable these days. But then the Terrorblade is last picked against the Lesh, which historically is not a great matchup when you get to the mid game.
Actually,
really,
Terrorblade has a very good win rate versus Leshrac.
That's weird.
Because it is not a hero that can... Leshrac is not a hero that can burst TB before he gets Sunder off. And TB likes to play into heroes that want to like man up versus them. He's like the best hero at doing that. With that being said, I think where Leshrac shines versus the TB is when you have enough stun that Lesh can do enough damage to actually take down TB's HP before he gets the Sunder off. And Earthshaker is a hero that actually provides that. As, by the way, we see a safe lane solo Winter Wyvern versus a tri-lane. That's interesting.
That's a nice little twist to start the game. Jabs on the Wyvern, position 3. He's going to be accompanied by DJ now. But again, it is against an early tri-lane from Aster. Monet, I'm sure they're going to give him a little bit of extra XP so he can end up getting some levels at the very least, but he should be secured farm as XXS in the top lane, the solo Timbersaw, who, again, against pretty much any lineup, once you get to a certain point, he's going to be fine, but it is an Ursa, which is one of the few heroes that he truly fears.
However,
the win percentage of Timber versus Ursa is very high.
That is not what I sound like.
Okay.
And also, that looks like the patch actually removed packets from the game.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Good.
Re-download it.
When you're playing a safe lane Timber, you get level 2, level 3 very easily. You're getting solo XP. The wave starts right in front of the tower, and I do feel like Timber, once he's got 2 levels in the chain or 2 levels in reactive, especially against an Ursa who's got somebody soaking his XP, you're perfectly fine with this. The one downside to safe lane Timber is that you can't wave cut. And I feel like the way that you beat an Ursa with Timber is you cut the wave. So I would imagine that at some point Aster will rotate these lanes fairly quickly and put the Timber bot. The question is when, as there's some very weird shenanigans going on bot.
Yep, this is definitely not a normal laning stage to start things.
No, it's not.
As DJ, he's going to find Siamese Cat in the trees. Actually, maybe didn't see him there. But Baboka, he's going to potentially go on to Jabs. We're going to see the Poison Touch to start things out. Fissure from DJ, but he's going to get slowed up. Cold Embrace going to keep him alive a little bit longer. And with no real follow-up from Aster, they're going to leave him be. But one thing I did want to talk about, since we've seen a few Ursa games in this tournament, it feels like Battle Fury has been kind of the go-to item, which is a much slower build-up versus the Diffusal. But Tomato this time opting, at least for now, to go for the eventual Diffusal, which means he's going to want to get active like really early.
And I think a reason behind that is because when you have Io and Lesh, like, really these two heroes are going to be the carry of the team. I think Io Lesh is like the current strongest Io combo. It really abuses the spell lifesteal with the Ag Shard on Io, and Lesh is like the one hero that likes spell lifesteal in Dota right now.
Yeah, Monet gets off that meta. Jabs trying to get to the other side of the cliff here, but
that was weird.
Won't be able to do too much with that, as First Blood goes the way of Baboka and Aster, which Again, not a huge surprise considering they do have 3 heroes here.
Yeah. This is a like old like suicide lane sort of scenario.
Ooh, Ori actually blocked off a very nice fissure from DJ. Starting to right click, he gets off the stun onto Bryle. You can see the TP support from Siamese Cat is here, but Bryle not really able to find the distance to get that split earth. So good rotation from Siamese Cat is Ori. That would have been a really big kill. I mean, talk to me about Storm versus Lesh, because Storm not the most popular pick. Lesh even not that popular these days.
Well, going back to those old win rates, Lesh is one of the highest win rate heroes.
All memorized? What is wrong with you?
I look at these a lot.
Okay.
He has a very high, because you win pubs if you do. You look at the win rate, you're like, oh, it's a free pick. Yeah, it's a very high win rate versus Storm. It's a hero that likes to play the lane, standing on the creep wave. Obviously, as we saw there, Lesh can punish that, especially with some rotations. Does connect the second Remnant.
Yep, Lightning Storm into the split earth. Dubu's here as well, and Bryle getting really low, but he's going to get the kill onto Ori instead. So with the rotation from Dubu, as they're going to get the Water Rune bottom. And it looks like the top one is taken by Baboka, though, to deny.
Yep, so to answer your earlier question, that happens when Storm tries to man up on the creep wave versus Lesh.
Oh, there was also an IO.
Yeah, there's an IO, but it's a 4-minute rune. Like, there's, you know, rotations from both supports. But it's like you can set that kill up on him because of how Storm likes to play. Okay. And then Lesh will eventually get a Yule Scepter, which is great setup on Storm. It's hard to time your zip so that you... That's not even a timing thing. It's like it's on the Lesh to make a mistake. Where you can actually zip after the Yule's combo.
And then hard. The question I haven't even gotten to ask you yet, since we've been talking about worthless stuff until now, but
of course.
Like win rates and whatnot. 5 minutes in, do you have a preference for one of these lineups?
If we look at the GG bet odds, I'll go ahead and say Aster. Preference for one of these lineups.
Yeah. As Siamese Cat ends up dropping to DJ.
I'm going to go ahead and say Fnatic. What a win probability comes up. Stop showing me things I can cheat with. What's wrong with you?
All right, if you hadn't seen
Let's move on. Let's move on.
I need to know your real answer, please.
Oh, now it's going to sound like I'm cheating.
Well, during the draft, did you...
I like Fnatic. I think...
Oh, Ori, he's going to get some help from Baboka. Nice pick into the tower. Bryle is mega dead. Good rotations overall from Aster, as that was not even remotely close. So good turnaround here as Ori still trying to get his level 6. Obviously, Bryle already hit his.
Yeah, that was super nice from Aster. Like, they know that he's going to hit the level 6 first and that he's going to be aggressive, so they come in to counterplay that. And then also, it's Leshrac at the catapult wave as well. So you know that he's going to want to take the tower. So that is just, like, impeccable timing from Aster, understanding how Leshrac is played.
Well, Monet playing the Terrorblade, and in terms of net worth, not doing too shabby. Top 2.
Ooh, that's an arcane rune. Both mids want this so badly.
Ori, he will snag it.
Here we go.
Gonna zip on in onto Bryle. Of course, more members of Aster are here. And Bryle has that pulse number doing massive damage. He gets the splitters onto 2 heroes, and they're only going to find Baboka. Ori very close to dropping there. So it could have been a lot worse for Aster, but obviously Fnatic would have loved to have gotten that rune as well.
I think this play makes a lot of sense from Dubu. You want to play with your... I don't even think... It's like super late game, you can play with Ursa and empower him, but if you run next to a Leshrac, even if you're not pressuring the tower, because there's 2 Aster supports mid, still, the farming potential, if you pair these 2 heroes together, is way more than if you pair the IO with an Ursa.
Oh, they were taking some stacks, but now they're going to try to potentially find X. Never mind.
Walk away
Bryle,
from
they're just going to... Yeah, I guess they knew they were coming.
All right.
So not able to take that many creeps. In fact, just weakening them for Ori. So he's going to get farm a little bit quicker than he was expecting.
Even stacks it a little bit.
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, he's doing that.
Be careful with that death throw, of course. And Bryle, he's going to have to take his own stack instead. And in terms of the builds, are we going to see like a Yule's on Lesh to set up his own stun? Does he need a setup? Because you do have Fissure, which is extremely long range.
I would still imagine that a Yule's is good, just so that the Lesh can be a hero that can initiate plays, because you're going to have the IO and the Lesh running together, and then you're going to have the rest of the team on the other side of the map. So, like, having the Lesh able to set stuff up on his own is important for that reason. And then also, Yule's, as a defensive measure, this game is pretty good too. You can stop the Sunder, you can take off the Earth Spirit Silence, Storm if he gets an Orchid, which is a build we've been seeing a decent amount this patch. Like, all of these things the Yule's is good against.
Okay. Illusion rune this time. Ori seems to be getting a lot of these runes right now.
Yeah, he is.
He's got the little Quinn gene, it seems.
Yeah. Quinn passed it off. Gave him the crown, but no, it's not the most powerful rune, you know. Let's look at the items. The big item this game is the mana reduction one. Does either side have this? Because both sides want it. Storm
Fairy
versus
trinket,
Lesh.
you mean?
The fairy trinket.
Yeah, Aster does not yet, but there is one more item to drop, and we'll get very hyped, of course, if that does end up coming into the jungle. And it doesn't look like for Fnatic that is the case either.
Yeah, one more for both sides, so...
Okay.
Bring up those GG bet odds.
Yeah,
who's going to get the fairy string?
After this comes up, maybe the odds will change. Arcane Ring on the side of Fnatic, so no fairy's trinket for Bryle. See if Storm is able to get the luck of Gaben. Can't believe we're talking about a tier 1 item.
It's that important. Gotta
No,
drink.
I agree.
Drink that Gaben's nectar.
Yep, that is something. Oh, we're going to see the curse come out from Jabs. He's going to get surrounded here as DJ getting off a nice fissure. Enchant Totem to follow. Doesn't have his Echo Slam yet, so Ori can only be denied so much as Monet with an early Sunder onto Bryle, who's extremely low. Zipped on by Ori, but the heal's coming out from the IO. Not going to keep Bryle alive in the end. So 2 dead, make it 3 in favor of Aster. Double kill for XXS, and that is, I would say it's a turning point, but it is still relatively early in the game.
What we just witnessed is precisely why Terrorblade has such a good win rate versus Leshrac. It does not play out the way that people think that it should, because TB's not a regular illusion hero. He has Sunder, and he's also, his main hero does a ton of damage. So it's like, yeah, you can clear the illusions, but he just Sunders and kills you. So on Lesh, you need a BKB, and by that timing, TB's got a Scotty, and he's harder to kill, maybe Satanic. So it really is all on these other heroes to set up the Leshrac, to set up Bryle to get the kill.
I was going to say, are you going to go into the pit? He is doing that.
Yeah.
He's got that double damage with the IO. Dubo going to block Roche a bit, and this is going to be one of the earliest Roches we've seen in this tournament. He's going to get some help from Bryle as well. Ooh. Now finally has a couple levels of Diabolic Edict. And Tomato ages at 10.5 minutes.
And almost a defusal, too, with the Aegis timing.
Yep, that's true.
God damn, that's
200 away.
He is a beefy boy.
Yep, and that's something that we haven't really talked about is the push potential from Fnatic. Basically just from the Lesh, but it is such low cooldown, such high damage. That is something you certainly need to respect. It's Bryle back into the jungle. And just taking a couple stacks here.
Yep, now he gets his mana battery back. Ursa that was only for Roshan. Now he's going to go play on his own. Of course, there's not much in this game to kill Tomato with his, I mean, especially when he has the Aegis. Now they're incredibly afraid of.
By the way, a little update, no Fairies Trinket on either team.
Okay, so
but both have Arcane Rings.
Right, can we get those GG bet?
4 minutes on the Aegis for Tomato. As the tier 1 tower taking heavy pressure from Aster. It's at half HP, so it should be able to be defended here on the Fnatic side. And it early. Wow. Are you surprised by this itemization?
Eternal Shroud.
That's really early. We don't see that very often, I feel like.
No. I mean, I suppose with the IO, you want to build into the spell lifesteal. I could see him queuing it up and then still going for a Kaya or a Sange first, depending on how the next fight goes.
Okay. Up. Baboka with the initiation onto Tomato. Pops the early enrage to try to focus Baboka down. Of course, has that Diffusal Blade, but Baboka able to zip on out of there, no problem. Good curse, actually keeping the pressure on from XXS onto his own teammate. Echo Slam to follow with the stacks of Fury Swipes are there as well. And you can see the grave keeping XXS alive a little bit, but that Splinter's Blast just barely clips him. And that's 2 deaths on the side of Aster as Fnatic. Having a nice little team fight there. And meanwhile in the mid lane, Ori taking out Dubu. He's almost out of mana, but does have his regen rune. And that is a dream. Again, Ori's getting every rune this game.
Yeah. Yeah, Bryle's actually kind of slowing down here. Usually you see the Leshrac pop off because they have the IO that's constantly buffing them up. But really it's Tomato that's having the incredible game this time around. He is
he's got
very
his
big.
Lifesteal now going for the Blink Dagger and then into eventual BKB. And Bryle, I think, is committed. Did he actually purchase it? Yeah. Eternal Shroud is on its way, so this might be the earliest one I've ever seen, honestly. And the fact that you get the spell lifesteal, extremely good for this hero, and then the mana regen once you take some damage. Pretty damn valuable, and that's with an IO on the team, so it feels like he's never going to run out of mana.
Yeah, I think this game, like he knows that he's going to get the full 400 damage back to his mana. He's playing against an Earth Spirit. He's playing against a Storm. You know, these heroes are obviously just pumping it out, so it's a good game for it. He's going to use the entire shield. Going for the Sange next, so he's building just incredibly tanky. Wants to just run in and not die.
Yep, taking out some more stacks, and where is this Terrorblade at in terms of his itemization? So Monet already has the Dragonlance Yasha and partially into 1,000 into his Scotty, which pretty damn fast. I mean, considering how well Tomato has farmed, getting that early Aegis is still 600 behind the TB. You see a curse. Ori, we have the relocate coming in. Do they have time to get off the Split Earth? No! Just a fraction of a second off. Even the Fissure expended just in case, but Ori is A-okay. That was about a quarter of a second from being a kill.
Yeah, if Ori had turned at all to zip, he would have died there. But he did not turn. He zipped in the exact direction that he was facing.
Very smart.
Or within the, I think it's like a 12.5 degree window that you have.
Yeah, very interesting.
Okay.
50 seconds on the Aegis, and Fnatic really haven't gotten much out of it as Tomato. He's going to be spotted by these illusions. And we'll just kill them for sport.
Yeah. He's feeling a bit anxious about the TB, which I can understand.
Yeah. And Aster looking to potentially start a fight here in the jungle as Tomato's still focusing on the illusions. But how big of a deal is it that this Aegis isn't really going to be used in any meaningful way? Obviously, getting the early Aegis is nice.
I think because it's so early, it doesn't matter. Because it's like, it's too early to take a tier 2. You just don't have the items to be tanky enough to win a fight around the tier 2, even with an Aegis. So it's kind of one of those, like, they take it because they Versa, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we have the jabs. Taking a lot of magic damage from Baboka. There's the save on himself, and Bryle looks like that TP is going to net them a kill onto Baboka. Tomato not able to find anybody else here. I mean, one other aspect is if they do get the second Roche,
they get that shard?
They'll get the shard, and that's a big power spike for Ursa specifically.
Do you give it to Ursa? Yeah,
of course. I mean, who else?
Maybe Lesh for that chain stun.
I was actually looking
or
at...
the IO as the option.
I actually have a stat. I don't remember the numbers.
You have a
actually,
stat.
It's a low win rate.
Okay.
One of the lowest win rates in the game with a shard purchased. It's Lesh. Because usually you're using it for high ground defense.
Yeah, you usually get it to when you're pathetically losing it. It's
right.
like,
I mean, it can be useful for high ground offense. It's not as nearly as useful as
it is really good in this game with the Earthshaker though, because there's so much chain stun that you can actually Lesh stun into the Earthshaker spells and then the Lesh stun again.
Okay.
But it's, you know, a bit scuffed.
But Ursa's shard is maybe top 10 in the game.
It's very good, yeah. And I think the fact that you are the best hero in the game at taking Roshan also definitely helps.
Yep.
Like, you always get one for free.
Yep, that's true. I wonder what the stat would be if he had to buy it, what the win rate is. Yeah. Probably not as high. There's a tier 2 tower getting pounded on by Aster, and doesn't look like a defense will come from Fnatic. They do fort, but this is going to be too late to defend, I do believe, as they keep the siege alive as well. So outpost control likely to go Fnatic's way. And they're actually TPing.
They want to defend.
Small part to this top lane. Ori gets off the initiation from Tomato. Pops the early enrage. But he's going to be just fine.
That's a really nice play from Aster there. I mean, nothing happens other than taking the tower, but like the way that they smoke towards bot and they just surround the tower in a way where, like, Fnatic, even though I think they probably can fight, there's no way that they TP into that tower, given how Aster was surrounding it, where that fight goes well for them. Because there's somebody covering, like, every TP location, and also anybody running from the base from the tier 3 would also be caught. Like, they basically smoked to gank a tower.
Jabs, speaking of smokes, uses his Arctic Burn to invisibly come up the cliff here to try to scout things out.
He's got a Shadow Blade. That's a Shadow Blade first item.
That is okay.
It's going Silver Edge.
Wow. I mean, this is a position 3, so we know the build will be a little bit different, but we're used to seeing Aghanim Scepter.
Witchblade first?
Yeah, Witchblade has been semi-popular, meaning I've seen it once. For a core Wyvern, that still would be popular, I guess.
He wants to set up for the IO relocates. That's why he went for the Shadow Blade. He's looking to maybe catch the TB or the Storm like in the jungle or on a creep wave.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really great. I feel like with a Leshrac being relocated in, like you have the damage to follow up a Winter's Curse. Maybe you need a creep to extend the curse, so that way the relocate is, you know, it takes kind of a long time to relocate in, but still, you know, if you find one of these heroes farming a jungle camp, they're dead.
Now, Ori has his Sange Kaya and 1,000 into the BKB purchase. And from Monet's side, he's only 600 away from a Scotty. He is disgustingly farmed right now.
Yeah, we can see why a lot of Ursas in this tournament are prioritizing the Battle Fury. With the Diffusal, even though Tomato's having a really great game and he's farming a lot and he's taking a Roshan, still, there's no way that you can keep up with the Terrorblade that has these illusions pushing out. It's just too fast of a farming hero. So Monet is naturally going to accelerate.
Yeah, and just the fact that there is an Ursa that's already taken a really early Roche, Aster, and Fnatic scouting out the pit, but we can see it's actually a relatively late spawn this time, which I'm not even sure who that... I would assume that favors Aster, because that gives space for Terrorblade to farm that Scotty.
Yeah, and we can see the gold lead going up too. So it's like the longer and longer that there's no objectives being pressured.
Yeah,
they're literally farming more. We can see that.
I mean, we can see Tomato going in and out of the pit. He's actually scouting it himself, which could be spent farming. So just the efficiency aspect on Aster's side for sure. Jabs in that Shadow Blade form. Not able to get anything off onto Ori though. And Aster just grouping up, knowing that this next Roche is going to be a big... Oh, boy.
That is going to make him in the old Storm. That is kind of how that works.
That's a scary one.
It's the one way that he becomes as beefy of a hero as he was last patch.
So, Tomato opting for the BKB first, knowing that these fights are likely to come soon. So, instead of that blink...
Baboka's rolling up.
Yep, Baboba. Nice fissure from DJ. And Tomato just 3-shots him. All right.
Damn, you would think that Enrage still gives you more damage after watching that, but it is straight up just Tomato's, like, raw damage.
Yep.
3-shot him.
Hey, that was in the game very briefly, I feel like.
The Enrage doing extra damage? Was it brief? It depends on how long you played. If you played for 10 years...
I've been alive a long time.
I feel like that was many years.
No. That was a few months, I feel like.
Was it?
Could be horribly.
You might be dating yourself here.
Tomato.
Oh, the BKB
they forced out the BKB. That's really big. And now that Roche is up, means Tomato cannot go for it. But aside the Aster, like, how fast would you say they're able to take Roche? And yeah, they're going to smoke right away.
I think they're going to go look for a kill instead.
I mean, they could honestly just try to Roche knowing the BKB's down, but it is a bit scary.
Against Wyvern, Earthshaker, it's a bit
Earthshaker, no blink yet. He's halfway there. He's going to get initiated on it. We've seen this story before all tournament, before this Blank Dagger comes online. The Earthshaker, kind of pathetic, but
getting healed by the IO.
For now, XXS has that early shard, actually, but there's a zip in from Ori, focusing down that Earthshaker, but XXS pays the ultimate price. So it's a 1-for-1, favoring Fnatic for now, but Bryle, he's taking a ton of damage. Nice relocate, back to the base, buyback onto the Earthshaker now as well. Double kill for Tomato as they take Baboka to the grave. Now, can they catch anybody on Aster? Ori's going to be a tough one.
He's got no mana, actually.
That's true, and the Arcane Rune has already dissipated. He does have 2 wand charges. Jenkins, very important. Bryle gets off the Lightning Storm, and just enough for Ori to get high ground there. The damage onto Tomato is pretty fierce, but the Terrorblade, Monet, that meta's ending soon, which means Fnatic has potentially opening here to go for Roche, because... well, from Tomato's side, his BKB's up in 3 seconds as well.
Yeah, they thought about it, because you know Ori's going to run straight back to Fountain and try to regen up, but it's one of those things where, you know, there's TB illusion scouting. Imagine Ori gets enough mana to just do some big zip, and all of a sudden he sees everything that's happening in the pit. It could be a disaster. So they don't risk it.
They're going in.
Okay, well now they are. Huh.
Split Earth, Tomato.
No meta.
Yeah, but can see Storm zipping in a little bit closer now. Of course, no Terrorblade Metamorphosis. As Bryle trying to zone out a bit here for Tomato to try to finish this off. XXS gets a Chakram off. Just trying to delay this as much as possible, but the Roche is going down really fast to Tomato now, but you can see they're going to get some scouting out. They're going to get the stun up onto Tomato, but he's going to get the kill onto Baboka, and the Aegis is taken along with the Roche from Tomato, and XXS, he does get great, but that's a lot of Fury swipes. Timber Chain to the high ground. Looks like he might be okay. Even the Dazzle getting away. Another Timber Chain for XXS, but he's getting relatively low on mana. One more right click. Nope. XXS again. Yules, but here comes Jabs with the curse, just to ensure that they have enough time to finish off that big bad Timber Saw.
Yeah, that was nice. Tomato queued up the defusal knowing that the Yules was coming and diffuses him so his team can catch up.
All right, so Roche for Fnatic, Tomato another Aegis, and now with the shard that we brought up earlier.
Yeah.
So gets the little enrage buff every time he pops the Earth Shock.
Of course, that's a top 10 shard in the game, S tier.
Yep, it definitely is. As now the Dota Plus win probability heavily in favor of Fnatic. But we haven't really seen a Terrorblade. We saw the fight earlier. That's one thing that you can try to play around is that long cooldown of Metamorphosis. Baboka, just playing with his food. Is the shard coming online for Siamese Cat. That poison touch. Pretty damn annoying.
Not so big of a deal though with Ursa. He does have that status resist.
Yeah, and I believe Tomato, yeah, he has the Blink Dagger. I'm not sure actually how long he's had that, but Basher will be next. And if he can finish this Abyssal, that is something that Storm will have to be really careful about, to the point where, I mean, I don't know if you can go... He's going for the BKB on Ori, but I don't think you can go for Linkage this game. I feel like you need something a little bit more powerful.
I even think, like, Tomato a lot of the time is going to be looking for Siamese Cat in these fights. Siamese Cat, he's been saving people all game and turning fights. And that's what we've seen for most Dazzles in this tournament. Like, it looks like a really strong hero. I think the healing amplification at 1 HP and being able to save somebody to actually put them to a reasonable HP threshold where they don't just immediately die to some damage over time has made Dazzle look like an amazing hero. Especially if you have something like an Essence Ring, which Timber does have.
It's funny, though, because in the DPC, like from the regions we played, there was one person playing it, Fly.
Yeah.
And now it's like super popular and nothing's really changed.
It looks good.
It looks really good.
Looks really good.
And I agree. Like every game we've cast, it feels like the Graves are like super consistent.
Yeah, it's a low cooldown. It's long range. People are actually healing to a reasonable HP. They don't just die after Grave.
Yep, Jabs. He's gonna get off the curse. He was invisible that entire time. And here comes the relocate. Early Grave, Split Earth is there, but Ori gets enough time thanks to the Grave to zip away. XXS. Oh, the tree.
Oh, he missed.
Actually, was that a miss or did somebody eat a tree? Either way, leads to his death. At the very least, Ori lives. So again, right on point with the Grave.
Top tower is under attack.
Yeah, this seems to happen with Timber Saws in this patch. I think, like, you can really feel the Timber Chain nerf. And also, a few patches ago, they changed it so that the Timber Chain, it doesn't like have a latch radius like Pudge Hook does anymore. Like, you really have to be precise with it.
Yep, Ori gets the Electric Vortex off. Fissure being fake. There we go. Ori's going to hit it. DJ actually has the shard now, but the initiation on the Bryle, just way too much damage. He is bursted from 100 to 0. Dubu now, he's going to face the Baboka Earth Spirit, but not going to lead to much here. But that is a very big kill for Aster, and it feels like, momentum-wise, Fnatic is doing... It feels like they're doing quite well, but every time Aster seems to show up, and you can see the net worth has been relatively close this whole game.
And Monet is a problem. The thing with Terrorblade is that he's the type of hero that if he's top net worth, it doesn't matter how many enemy cores are farmed. There's some way that you can empower him where he will carry the game 1v5. And it's like, okay, sure, maybe it's not 1v5. He's great to throw Glimmer Capes on and Lotus Orbs and stuff like this, but I think he benefits more from these like small buff items than a lot of other heroes. Is Baboka.
Yep, Jabs invisible.
Looking for him. I don't think he has Curse yet, does he? He does have Curse.
Okay.
He's looking.
Yep, he's going to curse XXS. Tomato queuing up the Fury swipes, jumps right in with the BKB, and there's the Fissure to stop the Timber Chain. Grave again keeping XXS alive, but will it be enough? Indeed it is. Nicely played again from Siamese Cat.
Dude, Dazzle is a good hero.
He
Dazzle
is, but
good.
he's gonna die anyway as he gets fissured with the Enchant Totem Shard. And Tomato pursuing even further, focusing now on Monet.
10 seconds on Aegis. He's going to be careful on Tomato.
He does. The roll on in. More so out, I suppose, from Baboka's perspective, and now that Aegis will expire.
Yeah, they don't want to overcommit. There's some potential for throws here. They can just wait next Aegis.
A very entertaining game when we get to... we're going to see a third Roche, which we know that the Refresher Shard...
Of course, that will be the Refresher Shard, which we've been right about consistently.
Well, actually, wrong once.
That's exactly... Yeah, we've been quite wrong, actually, is what I was
a lot of things, actually.
Pretty much everything we say.
Yep. And Bryle, he has the SNK. Bloodstone picked up as well, and now a casual plate mail.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. Could mate with the plate mail.
That's right. That's right. He does need the armor.
You know, to each their own.
Right.
Whatever floats your boat is what I like to say.
Shaming here. He's a horseman after all.
That is a goat. Magical goat.
Sorry about that. Shout out to the goats out there.
Looks a little bit like Jay Leno, if I'm not lying with that large chin of his. It's a Fnatic with a 2K lead. And again, this has been a very close game. Actually popping the Bloodstone a little bit early here from Bryle. He's going to get silenced in the zip in from Ori. Trying to go for the IO, and they will get him immediately. Fissure onto Ori. He's going to get graved. Looks like Baboka was the trade, but Bryle taking the right clicks with a nice curse at the last moment. Ori finishes off Bryle. Very little man to work with. A huge Echo Slam coming in. And the right clicks will suffice for Tomato to get a triple kill. And the Fissure to follow, as that is going to be a fourth member dead for Aster. Huge turnaround there from Fnatic, and a very timely Echo Slam coming out from DJ.
Killing Monet is just huge there. I mean, he could very easily turn and sunder if the Echo is not in the perfect place. Also, Jabs, I think his save was very important in that fight. As they even get the IO to start, which is
what was the early
disastrous.
Bloodstone about, by the way? Was that a misclick? He popped it before he even saw anybody. And then it was, by the time he started getting right-clicked, it was just out.
People do use it to farm,
right?
Just to get,
not like it was full
mana.
HP, but either way, yeah, great Echo Slam from DJ.
I think the Grave was on cooldown. I gotta say, XXS on Timber is looking like he's struggling. Man.
Yes,
he has not had an impact in this game. It's like he needs a Ghost Scepter or something, and I suppose this is a big reason why Tomato went for this build. Every single fight, he's going on XXS and just murdering him, totally draining him of his mana, so he's having to use Soul Ring at low HP as well. Like, Timber has not had a game.
Yeah, typically when you see a Timber pick, I mean, we've seen the Yules before, of course, many times, but it doesn't really feel necessarily that good.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Lotus is something you would usually want, but his farm just hasn't been there.
I like that he queued up the Halberd now because it feels like BKB, like Leshrac is not his issue. Earthshaker is not his issue. He doesn't need that magic immunity. He needs something to deal with Tomato just melting him in these fights.
Fnatic with a 5K lead now as Roche number 3 will be up in less than a minute, and we're only 31.5 minutes in. So we're going to see some juicy Roche action as we do love to see.
See how close is...
Oh, Monet is very close to Daedalus, by the way. He is still mega farmed. And that's the one thing with Tomato. He's obviously focusing on the supports. He's focusing on XXS. Feels like Ori is extremely tough to catch, but that Abyssal Blade might help with that. Feels like they're kind of ignoring Monet, trying to kite him a bit.
That's why he's getting the Daedalus. He wants to do so much damage that he just cannot be ignored.
Yeah.
The Wyvern, I mean, the thing is, though, like, Wyvern doesn't care how much damage you're doing as long as it's physical. He's gonna use that, Cold Embrace is what it's called.
Well done. You're paid for this, apparently. That's one of your favorite spells in the game, too.
It is one of that is an S tier ability. That is an S tier ability. Love that one.
Yep, Jabs does have the cold embrace still, looks like.
Gonna check that one more time just make sure. Oh, yeah, he's got it. There it is.
Still equipped.
Yep.
He's actually really close to a BKB, and
Silver.
it feels like he has been kind of setting up a lot of these kills with this Shadow Blade.
Yes, he has.
It has been an impressive display from him. As Halberd now official on XXS. And Roche number 3 is up. And it's an Aghanim Scepter.
Oh!
Gaben's been listening. He knows that we want it.
Every time we're like intentionally caster cursing it.
That's right.
So it's the fun item that
We're doing
comes
it
out.
for the fans.
That's right. That's right. Gaben smiles upon us tonight.
So now that we have a pause, looking at both sides, who gets the Ags?
Best Ags. Oh, goodness gracious.
Storm on Aster.
I think it's Leshrac. I think Bryle wants that Ags for disarming Terrorblade, but he's got a BKB. That's one little kind of issue there. But still, it's another Ghost Scepter that he can keep himself alive.
I mean, it's definitely good. It can be punished.
Yeah.
Enrage is really good as well. First of all, yeah, I think Storm is no question.
Storm is
No
for
question
sure.
for
For sure.
Aster.
I don't feel like Tomato needs the Enrage.
I'm going to say something a little weird. I actually think the best choice is DJ. Being able to go in and out of fights as Earthshaker. I mean, you've seen how annoying his Fissure is with the Enchant Totem Shard.
Yeah.
It has been actually,
to be honest,
game-winning potentially.
I think you are completely wrong about that. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It should definitely go to Jabs so he can keep scaling with the Chad build.
Okay.
He's got that BKB. He's doing this damage with the Silver Edge.
That's a good choice. I don't think you can really go wrong other than Io.
Yeah, the Io is that'd be pretty trash.
Yeah. I mean, if you do get the Enrage, or if you do get it on Tomato, you can use Enrage while stunned by the Electric Vortex.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to assume that Ori will get an Ags at some point anyway.
To silence, though, he is
that's
playing
the issue.
The silence.
And Baboka and company are smoked in the enemy triangle, and it's going to be another Roche potential fight here. They're scouting out with an illusion. Tomato with the Abyssal Blade. I'm not sure if he's shown it yet. DD bottom.
There's a DD bot. That's what I'm looking at. Nobody has vision to, because that's the wilderness. Nobody wants to go to that bot lane.
Roche doesn't exist on that side of the map.
There's nothing down there. You can't get an Aghanim Scepter by going bottom.
That's right. Now, keep in mind that in the next patch, there could be another Roche down there.
Yeah.
It could be Roche's sister that spawns on that bottom side. I think we'd all love to see that. A little back and forth action between the siblings. Of course, the lore very deep with Roshan. I think that's about as deep as it goes, actually.
Yeah. Extremely deep, though.
That's right.
If it were a pool, you could dive into it head first.
Very shallow as
You'd
Fnatic.
break your neck, but you could dive into it.
There's a smoke onto 3. And another smoke round. You can tell that both these teams know how critical this fight is going to be. Ori, he's going to get the initiation off, but the early Bloodstone pop by Bryle.
Oh, they cut Jabs.
By Doob in the meantime, but Jabs is taken out before a curse can come, and he's dead without buyback. Now the focus is onto the Io as Bra has to walk away in shame, which means Aster could potentially take this third Roche away from them. But the chase, it's not over yet. TP's coming to try to save Bra. He's going to get rolled on. The right clicks are there, but the Abyssal Blade used early Grave. He could get his Sunder off. Monet trying to get it off onto a teammate instead of Tomato. And he's going to get right-click down. Only one alive for Fnatic, and it's Tomato all by his lonesome. The Bear, he will get XXS because why not? He's died so many times this game. But Aster still wins this fight in spades, and into the Roche pit they go.
You know, XXS, he gets the Yules off before he dies. At least he aids the Terrorblade in surviving in that fight, while Ursa had his ult up, so that's a very solid counter. But another grade by Siamese Cat, salvaging the entire fight. Catching Jabs here was insane. Jabs has had such a huge impact on this game. He's the dazzle of Fnatic, but he's also been setting things up too. So he's got double the value.
So he's not Dazzle.
No, he's dazzle, but also not dazzle.
Right.
Great
analysis as always.
It was so close.
So third Roche, the Way of Aster, Aegis on the TB, Cheese on Mr. Baboka's Earth Spirit, and of course, like we said, the Aghanim Scepter consumed for Ori. So just a free 4.2k net worth added to him.
Yeah, now he is...
Wait, is it 4.2k or does it count as the 6k?
I think it counts as the 6k one.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
he's right up there with Monet in net worth. My goodness. Really catapulted himself, and he actually will be going for the Lincolns that I mentioned earlier, and it has an arcane.
He's got an
as well.
arcane, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, that'll be good for him.
100 away from Lincolns, and yeah, this is... I mean, we talk about Storm being a great Aegis carrier, but I think Aster, they're ready to go high ground. Terrorblade is going to be the one doing that. That's why he has it. And he could basically buy the butterfly. Very close to finishing it.
I don't know if they're ready to go high ground. I feel like it's hard into Wyvern, Lesh, who of course is going to buy the shard now that he's defending high ground. Yeah, here's where the win rate comes from. And Earthshaker.
Aster.
So yeah, they're looking for a kill first.
They're ready to fight. They have these huge item timings. The zip on in. Bryle again gets off the Bloodstone in time. Tomato with the BKB. And there's the save. So Bryle A-OK. Tomato pops the Enrage, attempting the TP out. No stun to come, but Bryle not too far away. A nice curse comes out, but this is more of a delay tactic. And Ori, very little mana to speak of, so Aster might have to reset.
Oh, they're back
Bryle.
in.
Yeah, they go back in. Not sure if this was originally intended. Golden Brace to keep Bryle a little bit healthy, but Dubo just gets crit down by Monet. Baboka eats the cheese. Bryle with the splitter, but the BKB from Monet, and the right clicks up, and a huge Echo Slam coming out from DJ. My goodness, it's only one kill though, Jenkins. It looked big.
It looked really cool.
That was a lot of damage, I'm sure. We can check right here.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's not that much, actually. That's not that much.
It's okay.
Yeah. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot. That's a lot.
A lot of heroes get that much in an entire game, and that's one fight from Monet.
That is probably more damage than Dazzle will do in this entire game. Not that it can't, you know, Simon's cat.
Of course.
What a god.
Yes.
You know, the GOAT. Well, Leshrac is the GOAT in this game.
All right, we can see the total damage so far.
Oh, that's triple Dazzle's damage in that one fight.
Mid Setarax, the way of Aster, and Essen. Monet just got so much. He had literally bought everything out before that fight. Yeah. I guess he had the Yasha, so maybe not as crazy.
Yeah.
Finishes up the SNY, and that's 2 Setarax now for Aster.
He wants to not get chain stunned by the Earthshaker and the Leshrac, and I feel like they were already struggling to kill him with his effective HP, and now they're dealing with status resistance as well. So I don't know if they have the burst to kill him. I think all 3 of Fnatic's cores are going to have to be hitting Monet to kill him, and of course he's got the Aegis, and he's got a Dazzle sitting behind him that's constantly getting off these graves.
Right.
Stupendous.
Yeah, he's been quite consistent. Of course, Graves.
They need to kill him, dude.
They do.
He's in every single fight.
They haven't been able to get into the back, it feels like,
No.
despite having relocate, despite having a Silver Edge on the Wyvern and a Blink on both Earthshaker and Ursa.
Yeah.
So have to commend Aster's positioning. It's been on point, and now with the the Aether Lens, I should say, from Siamese, those Graves are going to be from even farther away.
Oh, that's a good word though. DJ, he's looking. They see Siamese Cat.
Yeah.
That's the target.
And the jump is there. Abyssal Blade, but you get the Force F and the Yules to save Siamese Cat. Now that forces the BKB out of the Ursa, and Bryle with the BKB of his own. He gets relocated though. And now Monet and company looking to clean up this fight and potentially game 1. Jab spots the BKB, and that's a nice curse.
Oh, he's
Up
not
with the
dead.
Grave from basically global range, thanks to the Eon Disc. Or keep saying the same goddamn item. That is not an Eon Disc, Jenkins, for God's sake.
Does sound like it though. The Aether Lens. Yeah, that's right. Why do you say Eon, but then you don't say Ether?
Well, I've had many strokes at this tournament.
That's right.
I've been keeping that a secret, of course.
Yeah.
30 seconds on the Aegis for Monet, and they're looking for the Megas. And you can see the Shard comes out to help with that low win rate on the Shard for Leshrac. I mean, it is pretty annoying to go into, and with the Aegis getting relatively low, Aster resets completely. Oh, Fissure, they're going to take off the Lincolns as well. The Echo Slam is there. Ori is dead. 100 seconds of no Storm Spirit. This is a PG stream, I swear. Bryle, that early Bloodstone. Stop laughing, Jenkins.
Okay.
BKB on the runaway now. Aegis is gone. Blink and TP. So they only get 1, but it is a big one. And unfortunately for them, obviously, with the Aegis expiring, Roche won't be up anytime soon.
A nice setup from DJ. Just camps the ward. Didn't work the first time, so they just wait and do it a second. They don't lose the top set of barracks, so they got that going for them.
It's looking rough, though.
It's looking rough, yeah. Storm did pick up that Aghanim Scepter from Roche, though, so he's got a lot of net worth that when he dies, he's giving more away.
That's right. And I mean, when you make them stronger, the curse gets stronger as well.
That's true.
We saw the effect of that. Of course, Grave does counter that completely if Siamese Cat is able to actually activate it.
Yeah, the essentially global cast range and Spider Legs Force Staff are definitely helping out on that front. Going for a Blink Dagger next, so his range is going to be even more insane.
Yeah, he's getting quite farmed now. And just farming up these tier 4 items as Aster in no real rush. I mean, even if you look at the lineups from the beginning of the game, I think we talked about it in terms of scaling. Aster pretty clearly has the better late game with the Terrorblade and Storm. And Ursa feels like it's kind of the story of this hero. If you don't stay on top, and if you don't continue to get those Roshans, although they did get the first 2, feels like I don't know if dropping off is the right word, but there's more options for Aster or any team going against an Ursa to try to find ways to kite him with itemization.
He really suffers from he's just a melee hero problem, honestly. And I don't think the little range that you get from Earthshock solves that. When they added that buff, it definitely made him a lot stronger of a hero, but still he has the kiting issues. Remember when the Sven Ags, everybody went for that, and he was just Superman flying all around? So he's like a melee hero, but not really a melee hero. And he's just been garbage ever since they nerfed that, because he's melee.
Sorry, where are you going with this?
It's the same thing. It's just 2 heroes that are extremely easy to kite, no matter how much net worth they get.
Yeah.
You can always kite them.
Yeah, that is true. That is the issue with melee heroes in some capacity, which is why Terrorblade turns into a range.
That does help, yes.
20-second extra duration with that 25 talent helps quite a bit as well. And Aster sitting on a pretty monumental lead now as a shard is picked up for Ori, and he gets that 25 talent to kind of combine with it. So more damage, essentially, is what that means. And a zip in, Bryle not able to get the Bloodstone off this time. Fissure comes in. Actually stun locking Ori, but they just don't have the follow-up this time.
They do see where the IO relocate is.
Yeah, so Dubu, he does have tether up, so looks like he's fine. Aster not willing to go any further here.
Yeah, they don't want to extend out of their little domain that they have here.
For them, it's already relatively close to the next Roche, so might as well wait. 40 seconds for Roche. Number 4. Which, more presents for everybody. Well, it's not everybody.
It's like Santa Claus.
Yep. Does he still get the Santa hat every December?
He should, if on the 4th one.
On the 4th one he becomes Santa? Yeah, okay. And then when you get 5, it's Oprah Winfrey, because you get gifts to everybody now.
Gets gifts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. She does give more gifts than Santa Claus, you're right.
Has more money than Santa Claus.
That's true. That's true.
He's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Bryle, still with the casual plate mail, and I thought he was going to go Shiva's, but looks like Sheepstick is the play instead. Obviously needs to get to a secret shop. Might just have to walk to Aster's secret shop, because he is sitting on 7,000 gold right now.
Yeah.
And, okay, Monet, is this the final item? No, of course not. He still has Ags and Shard slot if he wants to, and Moonshard.
And Moonshard, and Ag Shard.
Yep. And into the pit they go. So Aegis, Cheese, Refresher Shard, Aghanim Scepter. And it's a party for Aster. I would assume...
Who gets the gifts?
I think Earth Spirit gets Ags, actually, because he's looking to buy one. It's very powerful. Maybe XXS could take it.
TB took Ags.
Okay. I mean, this one's decent. It gives you Terror Wave, which has that really big AoE fear ability, which obviously synergizes really well with Blink, and it gives you extra. I mean, you basically get meta when you use it for a few seconds, so you can look at it as like more downtime or more uptime for meta in general. It's solid.
It's solid. It's solid. Unfortunately, does not benefit from the meta duration talent. That'd be insane.
That's true.
That'll be quite nice.
25k lead for Aster, and again, we're in only game number 1 of this best of 3 of the upper bracket for the Arlington Major. Winner of this series plays Team Spirit in the next round and secures themselves top 6. High ground is still quite annoying, but Aster have 4 minutes on the Aegis, and they're kind of constricting this map, so Fnatic can't really leave their own base.
We've got some Kale situation going on here.
Yeah, that's our specialty.
Today it has been.
What is the reason that Bryle hasn't bought anything with this massive amount of money is because he just can't get to a secret shop?
I feel like he's thinking about what to get to. Because it's like, you feel like you need the Hex because TB is not dying and the chain stunning on him is just not working. But it's almost like a Hex doesn't feel like that's going to be enough either. He needs like 6 seconds extra of stun duration or something like that. So maybe it's like in your mind you're thinking like Refresher or maybe like a Blink so you can play the fights a bit differently, where it's about like jumping the right hero instead of disabling the TB. It's a hard call because obviously at this point TB has 42,000 net worth. Like, good Gaben, what are you supposed to do? It's a tough choice to make.
Yeah, it's uphill battle for sure. Technically, it's an uphill battle for Aster because they have to go high ground.
They do have to go uphill.
It
also,
feels, yeah.
Aster's also standing on a high ground too, so it's an uphill battle for Fnatic even more.
Okay, yeah, more technically correct.
Both of them are on hills.
MKB for Tomato, and his room to grow is not too extreme. Overwhelming Blink is what he has in his sights, but not sure if that's really going to turn the tides necessarily. Fnatic's just going to have to play. I mean, I think Jabs is the one that really can attempt to turn this, but you can only get so many angles from your own base, and I think, obviously, like trying to backstab, that's what Aster is probably worried about and will be ready for.
He did pick up a Blink, though. So he's got the Silver Edge to kind of make his way through the trees and stuff with the fly ability. But then also he can jump around the backlines. Because they got to kill Siamese Cat. There's no way they're winning this game if they don't catch this Dazzle out. And he has been... Look at him. He's like a cockroach. You know? He's just hiding in all these little corners and skittering around. Nobody knows where this guy's at.
Yeah, he helps his teammates live through nuclear explosions.
That's right.
Bryle, again with the Bloodstone, has the double split earth going. God, so annoying, actually. Delay, delay, delay is the plan for Fnatic. Obviously, not much better choice. But still, they've cut into the Aegis by the half duration right now. At the half mark. Split earth. Monet's already at half health. There's the zip in from Ori, focusing on Bryle, just waiting for this potential relocate, but there's the fear coming from Monet. Getting to half HP, has the Sunder, has the Aegis. He's going to get Abyssal Bladed, and he actually gets saved again from Siamese Cat thanks to the heal, but that's the Aegis down. And remember, that wasn't actually meta, that was the fear from the Aghanim Stepper.
He did use meta.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, he used meta before.
Okay, that is really rough. Split Earth connects, early Grave. Still trying to go on the Siamese Cat as Monet does get up a nice Sunder onto Tomato, and he drops as a result. 100 seconds, buys back into the game. Now this kill onto Jabs is pretty big. He wasn't really able to do too much after the curse, but a big Echo Slam from DJ onto several heroes. But again, the save onto Ori zips away to safety, and will TP back to base. Enough stun lock to take out XXS now, as Aster, not a very clean fight for them. And Fnatic, they hold on. I'm shocked that he popped meta there. Yeah, so he meta to start the siege, and then he used the fear to try to stop the relocate. Okay, I see.
So like he wasn't using it for the meta, he was using it for the fear.
I mean, the 2 buybacks obviously hurts for Fnatic, but
yeah, of course.
The idea is to delay as much as possible. Really, what's the plan after that?
Great question.
Try to do it when the next Rosh is up, maybe?
I think like refresher orb for Bryle if he can save buyback so he can have the double hex. If you can combine these stuns, like you can Lesh stun into hex into the Lesh stun from the shard, and then refresher, like you can get some chain stunning action off where maybe the TB actually can die even through these graves. Or just delay the fight for long enough that DJ can hit an Echo Slam like that.
Yeah.
But it can't cost you core buybacks until the game ends. Like I think next fight they've got to run a support in to die, but I don't know who's supposed to do that. DJ's the counter initiator. Dubu is the save hero. Like, does Bryle have buyback? Like, I think Bryle's actually got to run in and die. I think that's the way they have to play the next fight.
Yeah, it's just so he can buy back. And
exactly.
I mean, these Graves are literally game-winning from Siamese Cat.
Yeah.
And Fnatic's having a real issue trying to find him in the back. So yeah, I would agree with that assessment. He's I mean, as farmed as everybody else is on the side of Aster, I would give the MVP of this game, no doubt, to Siamese Cat.
I don't want to jinx things
Well,
here.
it's MVP for their team.
No. I don't care about that. It's garbage.
Okay.
Bullshit.
Okay, yeah.
51 minutes.
Oh, no, don't.
9 minutes.
Nah, I can't see
9
it.
minutes.
I can't see it.
Two today.
Yeah,
we
but
had
not
another
us. It's never us.
one. We had one.
No, we got to 60 minutes, but then there was no items.
Yeah, that
just
counts.
won the game.
That counts.
Okay.
Bit of a buzzkill situation, but it counts.
I mean, the issue is that Roche number, I'm losing count, 5 will be up before then.
It's the 5th. Okay, who gets the Aghanim Scepter?
Who gets Oprah?
Yeah.
Oprah Roche.
I mean, Aster will get the Oprah Roche.
Yeah.
The question is, who gets the Ags? Not Dazzle. Get your cursor off of that. He's pathetic. He's a support. Actually, he's earned it.
Baboka, he's going to get Abyssal Blade, but the Eon Disc does proc. And the right clicks are pretty fierce against Bryle. Pops that BKB and now trying to run away. Extremely slow at the moment. And you can see the control is there from Fnatic to try and disengage successfully. In terms of, I can't believe having an Ags discussion. I mean, the double Chakram is obviously nice. I do think that Earth Spirits is crazy good.
They need that. They need that. Another save. Imagine dealing with Siamese Cat in these graves, and Baboka's also there, able to save from like the echo slams that are happening. I mean, that sounds really good. That sounds really good. Then again, Dazzle, what does his do? Let me go ahead. Reduces
Why don't you
all
read that
item
for everyone?
cooldowns by 50%. It becomes an active ability. You refresh all item cooldowns on your allies. So you can refresh BKB on TB. I mean, I guess the
I haven't gotten
item.
to actually see this in
I've
a
not seen
competitive
this
game at all.
Holy shit, XXS has a nullifier! Oh my god!
Okay.
That
takes care of some Ghost Scepter.
It's really good against Ursa too, because you just constant nullify his attack speed. That's very annoying. Yeah, overpower gets taken off.
Oh, we have the jump by Bryle, with the zip in from Ori, and Monet pops the fear. Bryle getting saved for the time being, but he's completely outnumbered right now in XXS. Looking to try to reset as the Abyssal Blade initiation from Tomato, but again, the Grave from Siamese Cat. Monet is forced staff to safety. Now he's trying to kick Bryle back into the fray, but he's going to use the mini Yules on himself. Bryle not able to hit that split earth. Jax looking for the Winter's Curse, but he's getting initiated on by Ori and focused down and silenced and brought down to his knees. 120 seconds with no Winter Wyvern, and Bryle dies inside his own split earth, but another Echo Slam from DJ and the bashes from Tomato keep Fnatic alive, and the buyback comes out from Ori though, so they look to be wanting to finish this game right now.
This is still a 4v4. Tomato has no BKB. His ult is up in 15 seconds. Bryle also has no BKB.
Yeah, but Roche
35 seconds.
is up. It's up.
I think they're actually going to back for the Roche.
Yeah, of course.
You can grab that Aghanim Scepter and wait for Baboka to respawn. Drop that in the fountain for him. A little bit of a gift under his chair scenario.
I mean, I'd like to see Dazzle Ags.
I mean, I want to see it, but I don't know if it's going to happen. He certainly deserves it.
Yes, he deserves a little treat for his play.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the levels here. Anything of note for 25s? Splinter Blast Stun is very nice. And also has the Shard, so the Cold Embrace will cast the Splinter's Blast.
Yeah, he was getting a lot of those off in the last fight. He's been chain stunning to
Roche,
high
number
health.
5, which I think might prevent the 60-minute game here, Jenkins. But I've been wrong many times today.
Maybe.
Many times tomorrow.
XXS has removed an item from his inventory, so is he going to pick up the Ags? Yes, he is.
All
So
right,
he's
so
got
double Chakram now.
It's literally called Second Chakram.
Is that true?
It's called Second
I
Chakram.
never knew that.
Somebody was like there at the end of like a 12-hour workday, and they're like, okay, I need to name this ability. All right, fuck it, Second Chakram.
Yeah. Oh, but the Ags is actually purchased the old-fashioned way from Baboka. That's a rage purchase, I do believe.
Yep, that is definitely a rage purchase. It's like, I'm going to carry you idiots with this.
He's going to have the Enchant Totem ability, which allows you to turn anybody to stone, single target, and then you can manipulate them as if they were your normal stone remnants. So kicking allies away, kicking Fnatic members back to Fountain or back further into the arms of the rest of Aster. So extremely powerful. The only downside is unless they changed it, the radius or the cast range is absurdly low. You have to be right next to them, yeah. So usually, like back in the day when you used to see these Ags, you'd see like the Aether lens.
Yeah.
But not this time.
No.
Because he wasn't planning to get it.
He has to like roll in and then Ags kick somebody.
Which is not too difficult.
It's not. There's a lot of Lesh stuns flying around.
Yeah, but
Blink would be nice. I mean, he does have the Eon disc, so it's like even if he gets clipped by a stun, he's gonna be fine.
Aster, 34k lead. If they wait, where's the Aegis? Nobody want. Oh, the Aegis is on Storm. Okay.
It's mini.
There's just so many icons up there. Ori with the initiation and the roll on in and the kick on out thanks to the Earth Spirit Aghanim Scepter. But Curse comes out. It's actually going to be reflected back onto Fnatic, so kind of pauses the game as Jabs now looks like he's going to find his way to the grave as Ori finishes him off. 100 seconds of no Wyvern. Bloodstone not going to keep anybody else alive as Ori with the Electric Vortex Ags AoE. GG is called, and 56-minute game. Jenkins, Aster ends up winning, where it was really hard to get that. I mean, they never really got the third set of racks, I guess. The Mega Creeps.
No, they didn't.
But they do win the game, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, that's right. I think Monet used 3 fears in that last fight. He used the Refresher Orb, and then he used the Refresher Shard, and I think he just did it for fun. After the second one, for sure. That was definitely for fun. I mean, it took a long time, but I think that was bound to happen. Fnatic was just kind of playing for the comeback. They were trying to play on Aster making a mistake or some crazy like pick off that they can get. But I think they know that when the game gets to that point, they're just kind of praying to Gabe and hoping that some sort of mistake gets made by Aster because they had the TB. Eventually they're going to win.
Yeah, it felt like there was definitely a timer that Aster were fine just waiting for. 5 Roches, by the way. Let's see what the panel has to say about game number 1.
5 Roches indeed. It was a high-octane game to start for the side of Fnatic, but unfortunately, the timing, Aster with the patience of that play manages to drag this game 1 out, and they are going to take this win. There's a lot to talk about here, but to me, the standout player was Dazzle, Siamese Cat. A little bit dodgy there, living up to his name, perhaps.
He's actually so hard to find that entire game. Incredibly impressive. And yeah, that was a game that had a lot of stories going on, that's for sure. And Fnatic almost did it. Like we saw the strength of what they had compiled with this lineup and why it can function and why it can work. But we also saw that that matchup again of the Ursa and the Timbersaw. And I thought it was really interesting that it happened again. It's like they both get really farmed. And at first I was like, oh, this worked out really well for the Timber because they win this like big triple kill fight down bottom. Timber's like exerting his pressure. And Ursa got that free farm though, and Tomato made great work of it.
Yeah. We got to see the Ursa versus Timber, and I'll say we got to see the Ursa versus the TB again, which happened in the last series, and that to me was a big part of Fnatic's downfall. Is you're playing with the Ursa, there is a kind of timer on your draft. At some point, this TB just gets too massive, and you don't have the tools to counter him, even with the Wyvern.
But they're winning, Gods. Look.
Yeah, they're also winning because of the item build that Ursa went for.
Yeah.
They kind of put themselves in this corner with the defusal build, right? Like you have to play out that early game perfectly, and they did. They played it really well, but you do fall off eventually to a TB. It's hard for any hero to keep up with him in that late game. Had some good luck with the first double damage rune and Roshan, and later on a couple of really nice initiations and teamfight separations by the Shaker. But overall, Aster just playing to their strengths. Nikki, you called it, Dazzle, probably the MVP here as well, with the Graves on the Storm Spirit, one time after another. And he has 2 heroes that love to be graved, the Terrorblade and the Storm.
And often the Grave was just negating the Winter's Curse, which is such a big part of Fnatic's teamfight. You'd see these, and also just let someone like Baboka go rolling in, not be afraid of getting cursed next to his TB, because there was numerous fights where he's getting graved. Okay, got cursed, he's dying, his TB's killing him, gets graved, curse ends, he can pop his Ghost Scepter and roll out. So honestly, yeah, amazing Dazzle play. I think if you're Fnatic, you're looking at this game and thinking like, you know, we can't let them get away with this much grave. Storm plus TB are usually 2 heroes that you can't like let it like